That winter storm's going to hit. I don't know when exactly. I don't have the exact time, but it's going to hit, and it's going to be bad. We're looking at rain, freezing rain, sleet, snow. National Weather Service says it could be up to 10 inches. Oh, boy. So I already told Megan that if she is at work, I'm not sure yet. I, of course, leave hours before she even gets out of bed. But if she did get to work, she asked if I would take my truck to come find her if she's buried in the snow somewhere. Yes, absolutely I will. But of course, you're not going to want to go out this afternoon. Apparently, that's when it's going to be real bad. With blowing snow and heavy snow, could be whiteout conditions. Keep it here with WMAY for the latest developments on that weather condition and road conditions all throughout the day. Want to talk a little bit more about masks. Of course, with the ongoing issue of two branches of government having sounded off now on mask mandates, or at least elements of two branches of government. A circuit court saying that the governor's mask mandate's null and void, and the Joint Committee on Administrative Rules at the state legislature blocking the governor's mask mandate. That's got the governor having an interesting perspective here that he says, despite that, he still has a mask mandate in place through an executive order. So we talked about that a little bit earlier this morning and kind of heard some of the back and forth of the governor saying, oh, J-Car, yeah, they just dealt with the rule, but the executive order is in place. So he claims that there's still a mask mandate in schools, even though hundreds of school districts now have said that they're going mask optional, including some major school districts in the Chicago suburbs announcing that they're going mask optional. So if there are hundreds of school districts going mask optional, is there really a mask mandate in place from Governor J.B. Pritzker, and is he even enforcing that? But you also have the issue of private schools that were mask optional all year. Are they still going to face consequences from the Illinois State Board of Education? That is yet to be made clear, so we'll watch that closely. But there's a different mask debate going on. In the past couple of days, the Illinois House has really been where it's at. Yesterday was another instance in the ongoing issues of a mask rule on the House floor. But earlier in the week, we shared with you some of the debate back and forth from when they met Tuesday on the Illinois House floor. And there were a handful of Republicans that ditched their masks, saying they're protesting. School districts still doing the mask mandate despite the court's order saying that it's null and void. So they weren't wearing masks. And that led to one lawmaker threatening to motion to expel these members from the House if they don't follow the House rules. But even as we heard from C.D. Davidsmeyer on Tuesday, there's a lot of questions about how these mask rules in the House are being implemented. Here's just some of what C.D. Davidsmeyer had to say on the House floor Tuesday.
The last 2 days of session, the end of last session,
the last 2 days
we
of
changed
session,
the rules to allow people
the end
to
of
speak
last
on the
session,
microphone without a
we
mask.
changed the rules to allow
because
people
it was
to
so
speak
hard
on the
to hear
microphone
people
without a
on the
mask.
House floor.
Because it was so
And
hard to
now,
hear people on the
because
House
we're at
floor.
the beginning of a legislative
now,
session. The
because
science
we're at
now
the
all of a
beginning
sudden
of a
tells us that we
legislative
have to wear
session.
it. The science now all of a sudden tells us that we have to wear it. Are we following the science or are we not following the science?
So the speaker at that time was State Representative Natalie Manley, and she said that they're following the rule, and she told people to keep the mask on while they're speaking at their microphones. But then the next day, yesterday, after State Representative Dan Calkins stood up, a Republican, he wasn't wearing a mask. He's defying the mask rule in the Illinois House. He demanded that all the rules be followed if they're going to be told to follow the mask rule, and prompted the House leadership to get out their thermostat and test the temperature of everybody in the chamber, because apparently they weren't doing that, but that's part of the rule. So they a little bit of some side action. They had to take a break, and the doormen they went around with their little temperature checks and checked all the people in the room, and then they were like, okay, so we're following that rule now, and then they read the mask rule again. But they modified it from Tuesday to Wednesday to then allow for masks to be taken down while people are speaking at the microphone. All throughout this, you had a state representative from Chicago motion to remove members of the House that weren't wearing masks. And then, there was some downtime. I think there was Republicans requesting a caucus and Republicans asking a few other questions. And in particular here, I want to share now what State Representative Mark Batnick had to say. A Republican from Plainfield. He is not running for re-election, I believe. And he had some interesting perspectives and insight into what the past 2 days has shown from the Illinois House, where you've got people demanding the rules be followed, or else they're going to be ejected. But then the rules seem to have arbitrarily changed from you have to wear your mask while speaking in the microphone to then, oh, wait, no, you can take the mask off while speaking at the microphone. So here's State Representative Mark Batnick with some, I think, interesting perspective as to watching the debate unfold in the Illinois House over the past 2 days.
Thank you, Mr. Peak. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Quick point of personal privilege. And what is the rule on when speaking? I can bring it down or no?
You may take your mask off when speaking on.
And yeah, I love it. Buffering. Oh, that's just wonderful. Yeah, keep on buffering there. Buffer all day long for me. That's great. Well, ultimately, gotta love that. Ultimately, Batnick, he went on to say that this just highlights some of the problems that are being had with school districts and the confusion that sets in. And how it's very troubling because these are things that need to be debated. These are things that you have to have public hearings about. These are things that you have to have in order to get people to understand what exactly is going on with the mandates. Let's see if I can pull this back up for you because he put it together a lot better than I did.
Members will be.
But ultimately, Batnick using that moment to really just highlight the confusion that everybody's feeling from the mask mandates and the arbitrary nature of when the microphone is in front of you, you can speak without a mask on, or can you take the mask off, and so on. So here we go. I'm getting this lined up again with State Representative Mark Batnick from yesterday.
I don't want to escalate this at all, but I think what we are just seeing right now is kind of the chaos that the General Assembly has let happen with school boards and people throughout the state. There's rules. We don't know what the rules are. They change. We're not having any hearings on the rules. We're not voting on them. I was at a school board meeting on Thursday. Afterwards, the school board president actually resigned, citing threats. I know there's been school board members in other places that have resigned, and it's all because of this. It's not March of 2020. We've had no transparency on any of this. We've had no hearings on the governor's mitigations, and it would be great if we could just work together and actually vote on some of the things that we were supposed to do, so we don't have to deal with the TRO, so we don't have to deal with threats to school board members, so we don't have parents on both sides of this equation that really don't know what to grasp for answers. I mean, this is a small microcosm of the chaos that we're allowing to happen throughout the state, and I'm hopeful that we can stay through the storm and maybe work on some of this stuff. Thank you.
So I don't know if they are going to be staying through the storm. They might come in and take care of a few things and then get out early. We'll see if that ultimately happens. I have yet to see a bulletin come through to that effect. But, again, Representative Batnick asking, can I wear the mask in front of the mic, or do I have to, can I take it down? But saying that really just the back and forth of the past 2 days of confusion on the Illinois House, how that's just a microcosm of what school districts across the state are dealing with what seems to be the arbitrary nature of mask policies, regardless of a judge saying that it's null and void, regardless of a legislative body saying that that the rule is blocked, and the governor insisting yesterday that he still has a mask rule in place despite hundreds of school districts across the state going mask optional. We'll see what happens with all of this, but ultimately, after some debate, after a caucus, lawmakers came back on the House floor, and that Democratic state representative withdrew her motion to kick lawmakers out of the chamber for not wearing masks. So again, we'll see if the mask rule gets modified again, and how does that process play out. All right, it is the WMAY Morning News.